Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayana. Hari Om and good evening from Niagara Falls. When Ravana had Mother Sita in the Pushpak Vimana, in the aerial chariot, he wasn't flying in a straight line. He was going left, then right, then up, then down, like a plane going through turbulence. And the reason why he was all over the place, because he was scared. And overhearing Mother Sita crying out for Bhagavan Rama was Jatayu. And when Jatayu heard this cry in a straight line, with his talons, he went straight for Ravana's hair. He knocked over his crown and started pulling on Ravana's hair. And when Ravana shooed him away, then straight with his beak, he started to tear into Ravana's body. Goswamiji shares that Ravana was actually knocked out of the chariot and was unconscious for almost half an hour before he regained consciousness and cut Jatayu's wings and recaptured Mother Sita and brought her to Lanka. Bhagavan Rama, shortly after, found Jatayu and holding Jatayu in his lap and literally caressing his head, asked Jatayu what happened. And he narrated all that happened and said that Mother Sita has been taken south. And Jatayu goes on to share with Bhagavan Rama that he's only stayed alive to tell this to Bhagavan Rama. And then his body dies and Jatayu takes on the form of Bhagavan Rama. It's a form of mukti. It's called Sarupya Mukti, where you take on the form of your Ishta Devata. And Bhagavan Rama performed the Antyeshti, the burning of that body. In this fight between Ravana and Jatayu, we come to understand what success is. Ravana in the end was able to capture Mother Sita. Ravana possessed Mother Sita. Jatayu did not. He had his wings cut off and he died. But who really got the ultimate good? Mother Sita never married Ravana. She was always thinking about Bhagavan Rama. Whereas Jatayu, he tried and died. How amazing that Jatayu had his final rites performed by Bhagavan Rama, when Bhagavan Rama's own father was not given that privilege. The ultimate good was realized by Jatayu and not by Ravana. This idea of what success is is being explained through Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Gita is referencing our agama, which is our scriptures, is referencing anumana, or reasoning, and referencing anubhuti, which is experience, on how to shift from being selfish to being selfless. Ravana is selfish, hence the fear. He's all over the place. Jatayu is selfless. He is direct. He has no fear. This is all Srimad Bhagavad Gita is trying to explain to us from the perspective of the scriptures and reasoning and experience. And when one is established in selflessness, this leads one to the self that is absolute, the self that is the nature of joy. Without growing out of selfishness, we will never get to experience our infinite potential. And so our relationship with Srimad Bhagavad Gita should be most simple. How to become more selfless. Every day, every moment, we should ask ourselves, are we becoming more selfless? And if every moment we are, we will experience the self. Bringing our focus back, Sanatana Dharma offers a simple message to anyone who is an aspirant, a yatihi, and that is, tat tvam asi. You are not ordinary, you are extraordinary. You are not finite, you are infinite. You are not dependently joyous, you are independently joyous. The first 6 chapters of Srimad Bhagavad Gita focuses on Tvam, focuses on Prince Arjuna, focuses on us. There are 280 shlokas dedicated to Tvam. The next 6 chapters focuses on Tat, that is Bhagavan Krishna, that is our nature or our potential. And there are 209 shlokas that focus on this. And the last 6 chapters of Srimad Bhagavad Gita focuses on Asi, that you are not Tvam, you are Tat. This is where the union of Arjuna and Krishna is actually Brahman, is joy. And there are 212 shlokas dedicated to Asi. The heart of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Atman, the center of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, comes in shloka 360. And that shloka we've all heard before. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Mam, Bhagavan Krishna. Chintayantaha, thinking. Ananya, of none else. What is the heart of Srimad Bhagavad Gita? What is this explanation of? To only think of Bhagavan Krishna. Ye janaf paryu upasate. Such a person, pari upasate. Upasate means to sit near. And pari means fully, thoroughly, comprehensively, is sitting near Bhagavan. Or trying to see what Bhagavan sees. Tesham nitya bhiyuktanam. Such seekers, they're nitya yukta. There isn't a moment when they're not thinking about Bhagavan, acting for Bhagavan. Nitya yukta. There's no such idea of out of sight, out of mind. And they do all of this, and Bhagavan smiles. How does Bhagavan smile? Yoga kshema vahamyaham. That I give to them all that they need, and I protect all that they have. This shloka, put into one word, is bhakti. What is the Atman of Srimad Bhagavad Gita? It is bhakti. And bhakti, put into one English word, according to Sri Rama Gita, is depending. Bhakti is when I stop depending on the ego and start to depend on God. From selfish to selfless. This depending can be looked at as depending on that which is higher. And every time we use the term higher, we should also understand this to be deeper. Higher means God, deeper means spirit. They're the same. In other words, don't depend on the body, depend on the mind. Don't depend on the mind, depend on the intellect. Go deeper into who you are. We completed our Chinmaya Inspiration Yatra 10 a couple of weeks ago. And I was unable to prepare for the yatra the way that I had prepared for the first 9 yatras. And this concerned me, but I was never worried. And I thought a lot about the difference between concern and worry. Concern is, there is work to be done, and you will work, and the work will be done. Worry is, there's work to be done, but I don't know if I'm going to actually do it and how it's going to be done. There's a difference between concern and worry. This yatra taught me a lot about bhakti and depending. That I could never prepare or organize the yatra we got to experience. This was a tactile experience, expression of all that we've been studying in Bhagavad Gita, in Sri Ramayana. I'm sharing this with all of you so that you can touch how true what we're saying is. These are not just words. These are our experiences if we open our eyes. Coming to the second half of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is all being shared because Prince Arjuna is confused. He's experiencing moha. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. We can relate to this a whole lot. Moha. And from that confusion, Prince Arjuna is seeking clarity. Who am I? What am I supposed to be doing every moment, every day? Seeking clarity. And he gets clarity as to really who he is and who he's not in the first 6 chapters. In the next 6 chapters, he's now wanting more than clarity. He wants conviction. Conviction about who created all of this? Whose lineage have I come from? He starts to have conviction about the person in front of him is not just his cousin, but this is the creator. This is the infinite. From confusion to clarity to conviction, and he wants more conviction. In chapter 10 and chapter 11, Prince Arjuna is not covert anymore about wanting to see God. He's most overt in saying, show me. Prince Arjuna shows us in the first half of Srimad Bhagavad Gita what kind of student we should be like. That I don't know, so I just don't care. That's what we tend to do. We're lazy. Prince Arjuna's honest. He has the humility to say, I don't know, but I can't live like this. I need to know. So tell me what I'm not, and then I'll understand what I am. And what I am, I want to know more and more and more. And Bhagavan Krishna, the teacher, he reciprocates this. The more sincere the student, the more that student invokes the best out of a teacher, Bhagavan Krishna. This chapter, Bhagavan teaches Prince Arjuna how amongst the lower, he is the higher. And for all of those who remember chapter 7, it was section 7.5. It was a class in October where I had introduced this thought to all of you. Bhagavan starts to say that amongst all of these, which are lower, I am this, that which is higher. That becomes the seed for chapter 10, where the whole chapter is about amongst the lower, I am the higher. Of which one of the examples or elaborations will be, amongst the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Amongst yajnas, I am Japa. Amongst that which doesn't move, I am the Himalaya. And he goes on describing all that is lower, but trying to raise what we're looking at to the higher. Everyone's flowing with me so far? Okay, now I'm going to introduce some technicalities for all of you. Chapter 10 is called the Yoga of Vibhuti. Yoga here means united with Bhagavan. United with Bhagavan. And you can understand yoga as power. You can understand yoga here as Shakti. Then Vibhuti is the expression of that power with Rupa and Nama, with forms and names, or that Shakti that starts to look like Srishti. Yes? So the yoga is that which is united with Bhagavan. So what's united with Bhagavan? Bhagavan's creative power. And the expression of that creative power is Vibhuti. Vibhuti is the manifestation with forms and names. I'll simplify. The phase that Vyasa is going through right now is that he has discovered that he can make noises. And not sad noises like he's crying, but happy noises. So he's discovered that power, and the Vibhuti, the expression of that, is he doesn't stop talking anymore. We try to sleep and he'll look and pull your hair and start talking to you. So the yoga is that Shakti, he has that power, and the Vibhuti is the expression, the manifestation of that. I'll explain more. Connecting chapter 10 and 11, when you and I concentrate on what we're experiencing, I've been thinking a lot about why do our Shastras hammer concentration so much? It seems like a secular skill, a secular quality, like being able to concentrate with the free throw, concentrate on driving, concentrate on deciding. At a more practical level, the reason why concentration is so important, and to appreciate this, maybe we can understand how distracted we are. Concentration at a practical level helps us to be aware of our intention. That I'm going to work and I keep telling myself that I'm doing this for God, but in my distraction, I don't realize I'm not doing this for God. I'm doing this because I want more money. But one who can concentrate is always aware of their intention. When they're arguing with someone, when they're forgiving someone, when they're driving, when they're doing whatever. Concentration helps us to understand our intention. And we know intention is what separates karma from karma yoga. Karma is just doing. Karma yoga is doing with discipline, doing with purpose. If you're distracted, you won't know your intention. And coming to this chapter, why concentration is important. When we're able to concentrate, we see through the vibhuti to the yoga. We see through the names and forms to how these names and forms came together. In other words, we have to go from vibhuti to yoga. We have to go from chapter 10 to chapter 11. Chapter 11 focuses on the vibhuti, correct? The forms and names. And what does chapter 11 focus on? How did these forms and names come about? What is the substratum or the base for these forms and names? That comes out in chapter 11, right? Which is about Bhagwan's infinite form, his Virata Rupa. You're still with me. Okay. Let's revisit this with different terms. I'd shared that the higher you go, the deeper you go, correct? Okay. So now I'm going to introduce a third term to you, which is tattva. Tattva is the existence, the awareness, the joy. So how does this look? At the surface, there is vibhuti, which is names and forms. That is sushti. Deeper than that is yoga. The power that allowed those forms and names to be there, not sushti, but shakti. And deeper than that, deeper than this shakti is Shiva. Shiva is that Sat, Chit, Ananda. That existence, awareness, joy. That starts to be elaborated upon in chapter 13. 10, 11, 12. 12 is like a transition. But 10, 11, and 13 for us to understand as Srishti, Shakti, Shiva. I'll change the terms again. Okay, I'm giving you lots of terms. Whatever set you understand, go with that. Creation, deeper than creation is what? The creator, correct? Deeper than the creator is what? Consciousness. So in this chapter, Bhagwan is asking us to concentrate on creation. And if there's creation, there has to be a creator. Then chapter 11 comes into our picture. And if there's a creator, the creator can't be inert, can't be dumb. So there is consciousness. Okay? When we get to consciousness, another way to think about this is objectless awareness. Right now you're aware of my skin. You're aware of your computer screen. You're aware of the book in front of you. You're aware of objects. Now I want you to be aware, but without objects. Possible? It is possible, but we're so habituated to be aware of objects. Again, chapter 10, bring that back to getting to objectless awareness. Another term for that is Advaita or oneness. Oneness at a practical level is the best and actually only form of balance. Every one of us wants to be more balanced. How? Oneness. And a shloka from chapter 10 for you to study some more. This is shloka 7. Etam vibhutim yogam cha. This vibhuti comes from yoga. Mama yo veti tattvataha. Someone who knows this knows that deeper than yoga is the tattvataha. the consciousness, the existence, the Shiva. So vikampena yogena. Through such understanding, saha, such a person is avikampa. Vikampa means they tremor, they tremble, they get shaken. Avikampa, balanced. No worries, no fear. How is that possible? When you're going that deep, like an ocean. The deeper you go into the ocean, the less noise there is, correct? The less movement there is. The higher you go into the air, the less noise there is, the less turbulence there is. Yujjate natra samshaya. Have no doubt that one who's established in this vision, that they are happy. That's why we're signed up for this course, correct? Because we know we can be happier. I'm shifting to 10.3, 10.4. When we understand this chapter from the big picture, then the micro will make more sense. If you don't get the macro, the micro becomes quite boring, actually. It becomes redundant. Which is why Guruji, Swami Tejamananda, and myself are investing a lot of time in trying to show all of us what we're going to see. When you meet a child who's a great dancer, a great singer, a great speaker, I'm talking about a child, 5 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. Our initial reaction to that is, their parents must be like that. Yes, if my child's a great dancer, it's because I'm a great dancer. You all know that to be a lie, but someone in our relationship's a great dancer, right? How do you know I'm not a great dancer? You've never seen me dance. And don't ask, okay? That's the unmanifest side of me. That's the yoga part. But if you think some more, it's probably not the parents, it's probably their blueprint, correct? Their vasanas. They have a vasana for speaking, they have a vasana for running. It can't just be the parents, it has to be their history of parents. But if you think some more, you're not thinking here, you're thinking down here, it has to be God, no? That's a God-given talent. That is a God-created vasana. Without acknowledging the role of God in our lives, what gets bred is selfishness. In our culture, whenever you meet someone for the first time, how do you introduce yourself? I am the son or daughter of my parents. I am the grandson, granddaughter of my grandparents. And on and on and on. What is your gotra? There's always that acknowledgement and appreciation of, I am who I am because of the people supporting me, whether they're alive or not. It keeps one selfless. And that's what this chapter is also doing. All of the manifestation we see around us, who's behind all of that? This creation? The Creator. How we hammer this point with our Guru Shishya Parampara. We offer our vandana to the present Guru. Who did that present Guru come from? Shankara, Acharya Shankara. Who did that Guru come from? Bhagwan Vedvyasa. Who did that Bhagwan Vedvyasa come from? You can say Bhagwan Shiva, you can say Bhagwan Vishnu. Being in resonance with the Guru Shishya Parampara ensures or encourages humility. This chapter is helping us to realize the Creator. Concentrate on creation, and through concentrating on creation, realize the presence of the Creator. This chapter's vision will be realized when we have knowledge of how creation came to be, when we have knowledge of the nature of the Creator. This knowledge helps us to see more, helps us to love more. Since Sheila and I have been married, Sheila has been eating hemp hearts. Some of you eat hemp hearts also. And she used to put them in our yogurt or cereal. And I always thought that they tasted very waxy, that it tasted unnatural. So the other day we were eating cereal and she had put some hemp hearts in my cereal, and I was reading the packaging. Hemp hearts are really healthy for you. There's a lot of protein in hemp hearts and other stuff too. And as soon as I had that knowledge, then I started putting more hemp hearts in what I was eating. And that waxiness, though my mouth was experiencing it, my mind was okay with it. So that's what I'm saying. With knowledge, you still experience creation, but now you know creation has come from the Creator. You come to love that Creator. And without that knowledge, these hemp hearts are waxy. These are for hippies. Only hippies eat hemp hearts. So the same way, only bhaktas see Bhagwan behind the creation. That's not true. With knowledge, we can too. How do you know if you are seeing less creation and more Creator? How will I know if this chapter is finding its place in my heart? The answer to this comes out beautifully in chapter 12. In chapter 12, Bhagavan Krishna lists like 36 different qualities of someone who has conviction of God. And one of those qualities is na udvijate lokaha. Na udvijate lokaha. One who doesn't agitate the world. And the next quarter, the next pada says, Lokat na udvijate. One who is not agitated by the world. So I'm repeating myself. How do you know if you're going deeper than creation to the Creator? How do you know if you're in tune with this chapter? You do not agitate the world, and you are not agitated by the world. That's how you know if you're going deeper. Now think how. To not agitate the world. There's only one way you can't agitate the world. All of you pay attention to this because we agitate the world a whole lot. I know, I work with all of you. How is it possible for you to not agitate the world? That is only possible when one is following dharma. When you're following your responsibilities, you're not agitating the world, you're strengthening the world. Correct? A sattvic joy of mine in my travels is people who pick me up from the airport or drive me around, and they're good drivers. That's a sattvic joy of mine. I just don't have to worry as they're driving. I can enjoy the scenery, I can sleep, I can talk to them. They're just responsible drivers, even if there's irresponsible drivers around them. Whereas the opposite of sattvic joy, a tamasic pain of mine, is adharmic drivers, where they don't know where they parked in the airport. They don't know whose house Bhiksha is at. This is random experiences that are happening. See how they agitate the world, specifically me. Being dharmic. And how do you not be agitated by the world? When you know who your boss is, then it doesn't matter what the world says or doesn't say. When I know my boss is Bhagwan, my job is creation, but the boss of creation as the creator, then if people like me, good, and if people don't like me, also good. If there's lots of work, good, and if there's little work, also good. So the dharma, I'm doing my part. This is my responsibility. Who am I doing this for? My boss. Again, chapter 10 is trying to teach us who are real bosses. It is not the person who signs your paycheck. It is not your local acharya. It is definitely not your president. It is Bhagwan. With this knowledge, living becomes so joyous. In our Vedanta and Ramayana course, Ravana goes to Maricha and says, you need to help me capture Mother Sita. And Maricha says, this Rama that you want to kill, he shot me with an arrow, but it didn't have an arrow head. It was just a blank cylinder. He shot me with that, and I flew 800 miles. That's going from Panchavati all the way to Mumbai with just a cylinder, and you want to steal his wife and you want to kill him. Maricha tells Ravana, this is a most powerful statement. He says, Mare Maria Jiae Jijai, which means who's supposed to die is determined by Bhagwan, and who's supposed to live is also determined by Bhagwan. I'm sharing this because throughout chapter 10, and if you're paying attention throughout Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and definitely in Ramayana, which is more overt about this, Bhagwan, the creator, says, I reveal myself to who I want to reveal myself. And if that's the case, if Bhagwan will only reveal himself to who he wants to reveal himself, what should our position be? Surrender. What else are you going to do? Surrender the idea of being a jiva. Surrender the notion of control. And most simply, or a beginning point, surrender selfishness.